She used the Dragon Balls to wish for a BBL. I want you to picture this. The Earth is in ruins again. The Z Fighters, weary but determined, gather the 7 Dragon Balls one last time. Goku places the final sphere and they call out the familiar words, expecting the sky to darken and the majestic green dragon to appear, ready to grant their wishes and undo the latest tragedy. But this time, the sky twists into a sickly negative light. The balls themselves, once pristine and orange, are covered in cracks. A tremor runs through the ground, not with divine power, but with something foul. And from the cracked spheres, there is no flash of light, no Shenron. Instead, a black, vile smoke oozes out, coalescing into a sinister, cigar-chomping dragon who laughs at their shock. This isn't their savior. This is a monster they created. Before their horrified eyes, the abomination splits into 7 distinct malevolent beings, the Shadow Dragons. The ultimate solution has just become the ultimate problem. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to explore why Omega's... excuse me, got a burp.
Nasty bitch.
Today we're going to explore why Omega Shenron isn't just another big bad, but the perfect final villain for the Dragon Ball series. We'll break down how his insane power created an unmatched physical threat, and more importantly, how his very existence as the living consequence of the hero's actions delivers a thematic punch that no other villain could hope to match. And so without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, grab a seat, sit back and relax, and welcome to my anime lounge. Think back to the beginning of Goku's journey. Finding the Dragon Balls was this grand adventure, right?
Correct!
But fast forward to the end of Z and into Super, and thanks to Bulma's Dragon Radar, the quest is almost trivial. Death becomes a temporary inconvenience. Entire planets could be wished back into existence with a single sentence. The Dragon Balls weren't a miracle anymore. They were a safety net, and our heroes got way too comfortable with it. And that's the core idea that Dragon Ball GT, for all its flaws, dared to tackle head on, and I like that. Remember how Elder Kai warned them about overusing the Dragon Balls, saying it messed up with the natural order, or messed with the natural order?
You invented the Dragon Radar, and you sought out the Dragon Balls for your own selfish purpose. Does any of that ring a bell?
BBL. It just sounded like some vague, mystical caution at the time. But the Shadow Dragon saga made that very warning terrifyingly real. It turns out every single wish, no matter how noble, generated an equal amount of negative energy that got stored inside the balls themselves. For every life they brought back, for every world they restored, a dark price was being paid, piling up like a cosmic credit card. Normally, this energy is supposed to fade away over a century, but the Z Fighters' constant, rapid-fire wishes never gave them a chance to cool down. They were using a divine power like a fast food drive-thru, and the bill was finally due. When they tried to wish back the victims of the Super 17 saga, the Dragon Balls just cracked. Instead of majestic Shenron, this twisted evil entity made of black smoke oozed out. This wasn't some alien invader or an ancient evil awakened from its slumber. This was a monster they built themselves. It was the physical proof of their reliance on shortcuts, and it unleashed 7 evil dragons, each born from a specific wish from the past. This concept alone sets the stage for a final villain unlike any other, because the threat isn't coming from the outside. It's a reflection of their own actions coming back to haunt them. Okay, before we get into all the deep thematic stuff, let's just be real. Omega Shenron is an absolute monster. He's not just strong, he is the definition of a final boss. To get a sense of his power, you'll have to start with his base form, SHENRON. As the 1-star dragon, he was already the most powerful of the 7. Born from the wish to revive everyone Frieza and his men killed on Namek. Even in this form, he was strong enough to go toe-to-toe with a Super Saiyan 4 Goku. But the real terror started when he did something no one saw coming. He started hunting down and absorbing the other 6 Dragon Balls, becoming Omega Shenron.
Can't you see what you've done? You slaughtered him. You slaughtered him like he was nothing but an insect.
Of course I did.
His power didn't just get a boost, it skyrocketed. Guidebooks state he became 10 times stronger, and now he had all the unique elemental powers of the other dragons. This gave him an insane and deadly arsenal. This guy could regenerate like Boo, sling fire and ice, control electricity, and turn the air itself into poison. And the result? It was a massacre. Super Saiyan 4 Goku, who was supposed to be the pinnacle of Saiyan power, got tossed around like a rag doll.
Well, I done told you. Next time I tell you, everybody who rode in an ambulance car.
Even when Super Saiyan Vegeta showed up and they attacked together, it did nothing. The one time they finally decide they have to jump somebody, it wasn't enough. Let that sink in. Omega treated them like they were flies buzzing around his head. This wasn't a fight, it was a beatdown. And it forced them to pull out their ultimate trump card, the fusion. The appearance of Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta was one of the most hyped moments in the series. A warrior so powerful, it felt like the fight was already won. And for a minute it was. Gogeta was on a completely different level, toying with Omega Shenron and effortlessly deflecting his best shots with a smirk on his face. But this is just another reason Omega is such a perfect villain. He wasn't just a mindless beast. He was smart. He knew he couldn't win, so he just took the beating. He survived long enough for Gogeta's fatal flaw to kick in, the fusion's time limit, made even shorter by Gogeta's own cockiness. With the fusion gone, they were right back where they started, facing a fully restored and furious Omega Shenron.
Goku, what are you two waiting for? Go for it!
Mom.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Call for your mama.
Worse, his negative energy was now leaking out and literally corrupting the entire universe, all the way up to the realm of the Kais. No other villain had a power like that, something that could destroy everything just by existing. His power was so absolute, his body so tough. It was clear they couldn't just punch their way out of this one. It was going to take something more than the power of 1 or 2 fighters. It was going to take everyone. This right here is the heart of it. His insane power level makes him a top tier threat, sure, but it's his role in the story that makes him the perfect final villain. Think about the big bads we've had. Frieza was a pure tyrannical evil. Cell was a bioengineered nightmare built from the DNA of heroes and villains. Majin Buu was just pure chaotic destruction. But what did they all have in common? They were all outside problems. They were invaders, accidents, or ancient evils that the heroes had to react to. Omega Shenron is completely different. He is the only villain who exists as a direct result of the hero's own choices in their journey. Omega Shenron isn't just a villain, he's the bill coming due. He's a reckoning. Every single wish to bring someone back, to restore a planet, to fix a mistake, it was all just feeding the monster that would one day try to destroy everything. And the most brilliant and iconic part of his origin, SHENRON was born from one of the most selfless wishes in the entire series, bringing back all the innocent people that Frieza slaughtered. That detail is incredible because it shows that the intent of the wish didn't matter. What mattered was the act of constantly bending the rules of reality. Good intentions or not, the universe demands balance, and the Z Fighters had been cheating the system for way too long. This makes the final showdown so much more than just another big fight for the universe. To beat Omega, Goku can't just power up and hit harder. His ultimate attack, the Universal Spirit Bomb, is the perfect narrative answer to the problem Omega represents. The problem was created by the heroes relying on a private miracle to solve all their problems. So the solution had to be the exact opposite, a collective universal effort. Goku had to reach out and ask for help from every corner of existence, from planets he'd saved to people he'd met along the way. They all had to chip in to clean up a mess their own saviors had accidentally created. Omega's defeat isn't just Goku's win. It's a victory for the entire universe. It's the moment the training wheels finally come off. His destruction purifies the Dragon Balls, but it also leads to Shenron declaring they can't be used anymore, taking Goku with him. It signals the end of an era. The age of easy fixes is over. Now, humanity and the heroes have to stand on their own 2 feet, having finally faced the consequences of their greatest shortcut. No other villain, not Frieza, not Cell, not Buu, not Goku Black, could have delivered that message. They could test Goku's strength, but only Omega Shenron could pass judgment on his entire journey. When you put it all together, Omega Shenron is the perfect fusion of a physical and thematic threat. He was a monster so powerful he could push our heroes to the very limit, but more than that, he was the Z Fighters' final exam. That superhero movie was the biggest offender for this. I mean, for goodness sake, Bulma, she used the Dragon Balls to wish for a BBL. They could just wish away their problems with no consequence, and there was never any stakes. And now they're literally best friends with gods and his angels who travel back in time and erase universes to help them. Beating Shenron wasn't just about saving the world. It was about taking responsibility and finally closing the chapter that started the entire saga. And that's enough of my yapping. Now it's your turn. Do you agree that Omega Shenron is the perfect final villain, or is there another antagonist who you think fits that role better for Dragon Ball?
Don't worry, I'll wait.
Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed the video. Join the lounge and grab yourself a seat. Share with your friends or anyone who loves anime like us.
Tell your friends about me.
I appreciate you all for watching, and as we always do when we close out, let's all raise a glass in the air. Here's to anime.
Mom.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Call for your mama.